Hey everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my experience traveling to Iceland, the winter escape with EF Ultimate Break. I just got back a couple days ago, so I cannot wait to share with you guys my whole experience. And if you guys are interested in booking an EF tour for yourself, if you use the code UA Amanda Monroe 100, you actually get $100 off your first trip. So if you book directly through the link down below, it'll automatically apply the discount at checkout, or you could enter the discount code at checkout. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. I went on this trip solo. Most of them I've gone solo to, and this is the Iceland winter escape. So flew to the airport, that was pretty easy. And most of us actually got there that morning of our travel day, which was so nice because on most of the trips with the itinerary, I always end up landing right before the farewell dinner and like go straight to the airport. Don't even have time to nap, just have to shower, change, and like go straight to the dinner. So this trip was really nice because we actually had pretty much a full day there. So that was super nice. A lot of people on our tour actually like booked excursions for that day. I actually didn't book anything this day just because I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel after a long travel day and all that. So I'm actually pretty glad I didn't because our tour guide actually set up anyways a couple hours after we all landed to go on a walking tour of the city. So that was nice to do because by the time we got back, I only had a couple hours anyways just to nap, shower, and change before the dinner. So that ended up working out perfectly. So just in case if you guys are wondering if you should book an excursion or not, either one is fine because you will have at least something to do with the tour group if you don't end up booking anything. So once we got there, since our rooms weren't ready to check in yet, we walked around Reykjavik and it was so nice, first of all, because we got really lucky with the weather this day. Most of our trip was pretty rainy, but this day was not. It was really nice weather. It wasn't even super windy, so it was a great experience to walk around downtown for the first time. And I also loved Reykjavik because it is such a walkable city, and our hotel was also really nicely located. So everything was just like super easy to navigate, and we got to see so many cool spots in Reykjavik. After the walking tour, that was about a couple hours, we grabbed a lunch at a cafe. So this was nice too because got to meet some people that way. So we popped into a little cafe and it was pretty good. We got some sandwiches and some coffee. And then after that, timing worked out perfectly because once we were done with our lunch, it was already time to check into our hotel. So we checked into our hotel, showered, got ready, and then it was time for our welcome dinner. So the welcome dinner was pretty close to our hotel too. So we walked to our welcome dinner and the food was super good. Of course, I feel like if you're in Iceland, you have to have seafood. It's so yummy. It's so good there. The dinner was really good and it was great meeting everyone. And after dinner, we also grabbed some ice cream. And it was so pretty seeing the church lit up at night too. So definitely take a stroll down to the church at night because it's so pretty to see it all lit up. I usually never go out that first night because I'm just so exhausted from traveling. So I went home, went to bed, and it was time to start our full day in Iceland. Okay, this day was so rainy, but it was so cool. Because I'm an Arizona girl from California, I am like not used to the cold whatsoever. So I did have to buy like all new clothing for this trip. I invested in REI rain pants, and I think they're actually the snow pants. I would get a couple like good quality clothes like rain pants and a raincoat because you'll rewear them throughout the whole trip anyways, and then just your basic layers. And I also invested in some waterproof sneakers, and the best purchase I could have made. It was so worth it. My feet stayed dry the entire time and we were fully walking in puddles a lot of the time and literally walking through waterfalls. So it was a 10 out of 10. I'll try and link the ones I used down below, and I'll also add a lot of the other items I got on Amazon to my Amazon storefront linked in the description box. But everything I got, I really was glad I got. So after having breakfast at the hotel, we started off our excursion through the Golden Circle. So it was so pretty to see. Our first stop, we stopped at the national park. I don't remember any of the specific names of these places, but it was so pretty and it was so green and just stunning. It was like a great little intro to what we were gonna see the rest of the tour, but it was beautiful walking through. And after this first stop, our tour director gave us some fermented shark to try, and normally I'm like a when in Rome person. I will try like whatever. It was way worse than I expected. I've had escargot in Paris. I ended up really liking that, but this, oh my gosh, like the first bite, it was so bad. I did not like it at all. It was like the texture, the smell, the taste, all of it. Like tour director gave us little cute little souvenirs, little shot glasses, and a shot as well. That was good to wash it down, honestly. And then we continued our tour. And And then our next stop for lunch, we actually stopped at a tomato farm, and it's actually like a full-on restaurant, which was really cool. So we got to like learn more about the farm, and we also got to have unlimited tomato soup and bread. And this bread was so delicious. Like, oh, it was so good. They also had like so many cool like tomato things on their menu. Luckily, it's included with EF, the soup and bread and one drink. But if you wanted to try anything else, they had like a tomato beer, of course, so many different Bloody Marys, and a tomato latte. So, and a few other interesting things. But it was a very good lunch to have, and it was 10 out of 10 experience. Our next stop was to a waterfall, and it was breathtaking. Oh my gosh. Seeing that, it was incredible, getting to see it in all its glory. And so we stopped there for a bit, saw the waterfall, took some pictures. Then we stopped and saw some horses, and we were able to feed the horses. And then we also stopped at a spot to see some geysers. I think every like 10-20 minutes or so, the geyser shoots up the water and everything. I kept missing it on my phone because it just like comes out of nowhere. So you literally have to like sit there and record just to be ready. And I kind of wish I did, but my phone was like about to die, and it had already gotten a little bit of water damage because of some of the waterfalls, so I didn't have it out. But it was so cool, even just like without it like shooting up the water, just walking through and seeing all the little mini geysers was so cool. I've never seen anything like that in real life before, so it was amazing. And then after seeing the geysers, we actually made a stop to the secret lagoon. And I know EF usually takes people on the Blue Lagoon for this, and it's included, but I think because of the volcanic eruptions lately, they didn't want to risk any last minute cancellations, so they instead had us go to the secret lagoon. But side note, the Blue Lagoon was open while we were there, so we just booked our own excursion, and some people booked it the day they arrived or the free day, so I ended up going on my free day. But for the secret lagoon, we went there, and after just like a long day of like being in the rain and it being freezing, it was so nice to relax and just hang out for a bit, and being in that water, it was very nice and just like a really cool thing to do. And that's how we ended the first part of our day. When we got back to the hotel, we had free time and it was time for dinner, so we ended up grabbing some dinner and got some fish and chips, which was really good, and some dessert. And then we headed back to the hotel. About an hour or so from then, we were going to go on a Northern Lights chase. This is also included. They have like a little tour that will take you outside the city to go and try and see the Northern Lights. Fortunately, on this day, the clouds were too low, so it was not looking good for us. But it was cool to just like experience like being out at night in Iceland and trying to find the Northern Lights. That whole experience was pretty cool, even though we didn't get to see anything. But our guide also stopped at this waterfall. At least we got to see the waterfall that night. And then we got back at midnight, so afterwards went straight to bed. But it was such a cool first full day in Iceland. And then the next day, this was definitely like my favorite day of the tour. It was so insane getting to do what we did. So on this day, we actually go to the south of Iceland, and this day was literally chasing waterfalls. Like, we saw so many waterfalls this day. So we stopped at our first stop and saw this insane waterfall. It was, again, stunning, so beautiful. It was cool too because even our drive, like on the way there, you could just like see all these waterfalls, and it was beautiful. And we got lucky with the weather this day because we were gonna be soaked and so wet anyways with the waterfalls and how close we were getting to them. Luckily, outside of that, it was mostly sunny that day, so that was nice. So we stopped at our first waterfall. That was really cool. And then we continued our drive and then stopped to walk to a glacier. And what's really, really cool about all these like really cool things that you get to see in Iceland is like none of it's like super extensive or hiking heavy, which is like totally my vibe. Most of these things you get to just like drive up to, so that was pretty nice to do. So for like the glacier walk to, it was only like a 20-minute walk to the glacier, and it was just beautiful getting to see, and there's like black sand and everything, and that was really, really beautiful, especially with like the glacier next to like the green mountains. It was just super stunning and very cool to see. And then we stopped and had lunch at Black Crust, and they literally make their pizza with black crust, so it's really cool and very yummy. So we grabbed some lunch, and we even took some macarons to go for dessert. And then we continued our excursion, and we made a stop at the Black Sand Beach, which was really pretty. When we got there though, it like immediately started like hailing. Everyone was just like hiding, trying to take some cover because it was like intense. But it was like really pretty to see. Took some pictures there. And then we went to this beautiful, stunning waterfall where we actually got to see 2 waterfalls, and it was so beautiful because the sun came out. So we got so lucky and saw this insane rainbow. The rainbow was so beautiful, and we actually went to like the secret waterfall first. So we walked over there, and in order to like get to this waterfall, you have to like climb through this tiny little narrow section, but like there's water flowing, so everyone's just like trying to step on these little rocks to like get through, but there's like all these people coming in, all these people going out, so that was kind of stressful a little bit. But once you actually get in there, it was really cool because you're like so up close to the waterfall, you're getting drenched and poured. So definitely don't forget all your waterproof things. I like wore my sunglasses to like help my makeup from not running down my face, and that actually helped. I totally thought my mascara was gonna be fully down my face, and it wasn't, and I thank the glasses for that. But yeah, that's why I like get my sunglasses on. It was like a shield. And then we went and saw like the main waterfall, and it was just so beautiful. And what was really cool about this one is you actually got to walk behind the waterfall too, so that was insane getting to experience that as well. And again, you're getting drenched, so be prepared, wear all the waterproof things. But yeah, it was so cool to do that. It was like totally my highlight. And then this was our last stop, so then we drove back to the city for dinner. We ended up getting ramen, and this ramen place was so yummy, and it was packed too. Like there were so many people there, but it was so worth it. One of my favorite meals I had that whole trip. It was so yummy. And then it was our 3rd full day and our free day in Iceland. And this day, my roommate and I, we ended up booking the Blue Lagoon, and I'm so glad we did because that was definitely a bucket list for me. So I was like bummed initially when I found out we weren't going to be able to go to Blue Lagoon with EF. So I was so thankful we at least were able to book it on our own. So we did go to the Blue Lagoon, and it was stunning. And again, we got lucky with the weather because it wasn't raining while we were out there. The sun came out a bit too, so it was just so relaxing, just a great spa experience, especially after having like 2 busy days. It was such a great way to start our day. For the standard package, you get a free mask and a free drink, and it was so beautiful. When we came back, we grabbed lunch, and we hadn't had any Iceland hot dogs yet, so we did stop by and get some hot dogs, and they were very yummy. So we grabbed hot dogs, and then also wanted to try the famous popular cinnamon rolls also. I think it's called Broad & Co. or something like that. They were yummy. Yes, definitely very good cinnamon rolls. Highly recommend. So we did that, and then we wanted to explore Reykjavik for a bit since it was our free day, and that was like the only excursion we have booked. I know some people did like 2 excursions. They did a lagoon or horseback riding or snorkeling. I wasn't interested in any of those types of things, and luckily my roommate wasn't either, so we just like walked around downtown Reykjavik. We wanted to do some shopping and get some souvenirs, stop in little cafes and things like that. So it was such a nice afternoon. Again, lucky with the weather. Popped into another cafe too, and the cafe was so yummy. Like we had really good coffee, hung out there, chilled for a bit, and then we went to Bonus, which is one of their grocery stores, and we popped in there and we wanted to grab some candy. So I picked up a lot of different Icelandic candy that I wanted to try. I love trying sweets from other countries, so I'm so excited because I brought some back, and I can't wait to like taste test them because the candy that our tour director did give us was so good. He gave us like 3 different candies to try throughout the trip, and I was like hooked. So I was like, I definitely want to try some more. So grab some candy, and then it was already time for our farewell dinner, and this dinner was like one of the best EF included meals I'd had. Like, oh my gosh, this dinner, probably my favorite meal that we had in Iceland. It was such a good 3-course meal. Love the restaurant. The food was so good. The first course was like something with fish. Second course was some kind of steak, and then the dessert was amazing. It was all like fancy food that I definitely would never have like ordered just like reading off of a menu. So I'm really glad I got to try it because it was so good. Since this day was clear, we wanted to have another go at the Northern Lights because our chances were looking higher. So especially since it was our last night there, we didn't want to leave without at least trying again to see the Northern Lights. So we actually took a taxi and drove out to a lighthouse that was like a little further out from the city because our tour director said that that was a good spot to see it because there's less pollution there, and there were like a lot of people there also trying to do the same thing. So we waited out there for like an hour. We were just like out there waiting and waiting and waiting in the cold. So we bundled up like crazy because we knew we were just gonna be outside waiting, trying to see the northern lights. We were like constantly tracking with our app and everything. Even though we weren't able to see with our naked eye, we actually did catch it in a few of our photos. So we were so happy we actually got to capture the northern lights and got to see them. And I'm glad, even though we were like freezing our butts off outside, I'm really glad we got to do it. So then we just like went back and went to bed. And then the next morning, we actually had the whole morning to ourselves because our transfer for flying out wasn't until like 1 o'clock. So after having breakfast at the hotel, I walked around downtown Reykjavik, and I wanted to go to another cafe before leaving that I hadn't tried yet. And I'm so glad I went to this cafe. And also just like going solo, popping into cafes in Europe by myself was like such a therapeutic experience. I loved it. I went to, it was called Sandholt, and I got this like brown sugar bun and a latte. And oh my gosh, this brown sugar bun beat the cinnamon roll that was really popular. This was like so good, and I loved every bite of it. It was delicious. So after being at the cafe, I went back, walked around a little bit, and then headed back, and it was time to go home. But overall, it was such a fun experience. We did end up getting delayed. I'm to stay overnight at our connecting location, and I never had to do that before. But other than that, the trip itself was incredible. Had the most amazing experience. If you guys are considering this trip, definitely do it. Just know Iceland is so expensive, and that's something I didn't know about until I was actually looking into this trip. So just keep that in mind, because I was like, oh, it'll be fine. I'm from California anyways, and prices there are more expensive than other places. So I'm like, oh, I'll be like used to it. It was definitely expensive. I definitely spent double of what I usually will spend for a trip that's like half the time. So keep that in mind, but so worth it. You guys will have so much fun if you're planning on going. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer those for you. And again, if you're interested in booking your first trip for yourself, use the code UA Amanda Monroe 100 to get $100 off your first trip. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.